A couple weeks ago, Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb made headlines for pulling away from Governor Mary Fallon's cabinet. Well, why did he do that? He said, quote, "I cannot support her proposed tax increases." Next, Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb sits down with us to talk about this move, among many other things, and a lot of you have chimed in. He'll answer your questions live next.
Deserve to have somebody on her cabinet that's willing to be an advocate for this proposal, and that's something that I'm unwilling to do.
You know, last month, Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb announced he was resigning from Governor Fallon's cabinet because of her proposed tax increases. And joining us now to talk about that decision, among other things, Lieutenant Governor Todd Lamb. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning. It's great to be with you again.
So, yeah, always a pleasure. Walk us through this decision a little bit. Governor Fallon proposes tax hikes on gas, cigarettes, among other things, services, but you have decided that you can't be a proponent of this. Walk us through the decision, how this decision was made.
Sure. Well, for the last several years, I've served in the governor's cabinet as the small business advocate. A little reminder to the viewers, the governor and lieutenant governor, I know everybody knows this, but it's a helpful reminder. Our two top executives, Gov and Lieutenant Gov, are elected totally independent and autonomous of one another in Oklahoma. Not all lieutenant governors are in the cabinet. It's not automatic with the office. I was asked to serve as the small business advocate, a role I took very seriously because over 97% of all our employers are small business employers. I have a lot of relationships, talked to a lot of small businesses around Oklahoma. After the proposal to raise taxes on 164 services, parenthetically small businesses, after conversations, I made the statement, a decision to resign from the cabinet.
So what are you proposing on the other side of this? Because we are in an extreme situation, about $900 million in the hole.
Sure.
We want to raise teacher pay. We have infrastructure problems. We want to hire more OHP. I mean, there are so many things that we need money for.
There are a lot of challenges facing Oklahoma. First, let me say we had some affirmation. I received 100 texts, Abigail, from 25 to 30 different counties texted me, these individuals representing 31 different small businesses, thanking me for my position. So where do you go from here? The budget at the state capitol is a conversation. It's not one piece of paper with a bunch of dollar signs adding up to the exact figure the Board of Equalization certifies. It's an ongoing conversation. So the conversation needs to include continuing to streamline government. I've talked to a lot of state agency directors, department heads, citizens serving on boards and commissions, saying there's still opportunity to streamline. Also a thorough review, a real review, comprehensive review of our tax credits and tax incentives in Oklahoma. Before raising taxes, we need to ask how we're using money from the taxpayer, spending it in incentives and tax credits, and asking, is it producing jobs? Is it achieving the goals for which it was legislated years ago? If that incentive or tax credit's working, we should keep it and ask about expanding it in the future. If it's not producing jobs or helping our economy, we should eliminate it immediately.
And like you said, you got a lot of positive reinforcement from this decision to step away. And I'll be honest with you, when we originally posted this story around the middle of February, a lot of positive praise for you to do this. One person, though, had a kind of a different opinion. This viewer said, "Why leave the cabinet if you don't agree? Why not stay and fight for what you think is fair?" What would you say to that viewer?
That's why I made that clarification earlier. I think there was some confusion. Well, is he shirking responsibility and leaving constitutionally assigned duties? No, that's not it.
Okay.
The lieutenant governor's not automatically in the governor's cabinet. I'm still working on these issues. I'm still supporting small business. We'll still have Small Business Day that I do annually. So it might be unofficial as far as a moniker is concerned, but I'm still going to be passionate about these issues because small business churns the economy in all 77 counties.
And the governor said that she was disappointed, to learn about this. She said she learned about it from a press release, just like the rest of us. Here's her quote: "Disappointed to learn that Lieutenant Governor Lamb had decided to quit serving as a member of my cabinet. Learned from a press release." Is it awkward now? I mean, how did all this go down?
Well, how did it all go down? I don't want to split hairs with the governor's press release or responding to my decision, but behind the scenes, my chief of staff visited with her senior staff.
Okay.
That conversation did occur. So if the first time she learned about it was from a press release, that's for her to talk about, not me. I can just tell you what my actions were. I want to make sure my chief of staff communicated with her chief and other senior staff on what my intentions were. I've seen the governor probably 2 or 3 times since since my decision was public. We've had cordial conversations. I think, again, I don't want to speak for her,
sure,
but they've been pleasant. She cares about Oklahoma. I care about Oklahoma. and we're still going to do the best job we can for Oklahoma.
It seems like everyone has the same goal, just different
Right.
ways of getting there. And you are still a lieutenant governor. There were a lot of questions about
Right.
that. I even got one question that said, well, what does he want to do now that he's stepping away from lieutenant governor? You are still the lieutenant governor. You're
Yes.
just resigning from the cabinet. What is your main focus right now as lieutenant governor, especially during this legislative session?
Well, it's twofold. My first goal is I want Oklahoma to beat Texas in something besides football. I mean, that I want Oklahoma to beat Texas. We expect to beat them athletically, but I want to beat them in every other area: education, exporting, small business, education, entrepreneurship, everything. I want to beat the state to the south of us. That's competitive federalism. That's how our country was set up. This session, I said already, streamlining government, a thorough review of our tax credits and our tax incentives, and making sure we're giving a very good return to the customers of Oklahoma, i.e. the taxpayers.
Sure. Is that something that you do? Do you talk to our senators and our representatives about that during the session, or is this something that you lobby for, or is that?
I do it regularly, and as a former state senator, I was there for
Sure.
a short time, about 6 years. I have a lot of relationships in the state Senate and in the state House. I talk to leadership regularly, members regularly. I'm going to have lunch today with a group of legislators. So I have that conversation. It's something else I do. I think you're familiar with this, Abigail, and we've talked about this before off air. I go to every county every year, all
Right.
77 counties. This year alone, I've been in Cimarron County already. I've been in McCurtain County as of this weekend. I've been corner to corner already. I'll continue to travel around, and I just don't get a limeade at the local Sonic. I talk to the local citizens, school teachers, small business owners, asking them what their concerns are. I try to be their voice at the state capitol.